Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another video, guys. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Back 4 Blood versus. And I want to just say straight off the rip, this is not a hate video. This is not me trying to say that Back 4 Blood is doomed or terrible. All I want to do and achieve with this video is just give my blunt and honest criticisms about the game mode. Because I will just say this right now, is that it's not good at all. If anybody thinks that I'm, like a Back 4 Blood fanboy and I'm basically just kissing Turtle Rock's ass, I promise you 100% I will not. Now, keep in mind, is that I will not end up just blindly hating on them either. I'm not going to make this video just to try to, crap on them, say that Back 4 Blood's terrible, don't buy it, etc. The idea is that I'm going to be completely blunt and honest and truthful, because that is a standard that I hold myself to, whether it's good or bad things I'm saying about the game. So everything you hear is going to be my 100% honest thoughts, because right now, versus, I will just say this, is that it's not in a good state. So Turtle Rock, if you're watching this video, please do not take this personally or get the wrong idea. This is all just for the sake of trying to make your game better, because I know it's in your best interest and everyone else's best interest that this game performs well. Fair enough? Alrighty. So let's talk about Versus. Like I said, it's not good. In my humble opinion, I think that Versus is basically borderline trash. I'm just gonna be honest. Now, here's the thing with Versus, is that Versus can be salvaged. It can end up being good. But if they end up doing a massive overhaul. Because right now, the way that the base game is, it cannot stay this way. At least if you wanted to keep it as the intent of having it as Versus. Ironically, if you were to have this as a different game mode and change a couple things, it could, actually work. But to keep this as the staple game mode alongside, survival and, campaign and scavenge, and maybe any other additional staple modes you might have, this is not a good mode. It's going to be very, very bad if you keep this mode the way it is, or just don't change it drastically. So let's talk about Back 4 Blood just in general. The Back 4 Blood Alpha came out back in December of last year, and I will admit that the Back 4 Blood Alpha, when that came out, was not also in the best shape either. Now, it only did show just PvE, and it only did just show one map, but the PvE was in rough shape. And in Alpha, it was actually okay, but it definitely needed a lot of work. Now, in the beta has vastly improved and shown what Turtle Rock is capable of. They've shown that the PvE is salvageable, it is good, and it is enjoyable, and you can play it for a lot. Like a lot of time at, whenever you feel like it. Now, that's good. Now, the problem is with this, though, is that, unfortunately, that's only one game mode, and keep in mind that this is because they had 7 months to do this. With Back 4 Blood's beta, it's only going to give us 2 months to fix any problems, because the official game is going to be coming out in October. So not nearly as much time. And this is already that they've delayed the game once. I will say this, and I'll say it again, I'm glad that Turtle Rock delayed the game, because if they didn't, the full release of the game would be the beta. Like, to keep that in mind, the beta would have been the full release, with just slightly more content. You gotta think about it that way. So it could have been a lot worse. So Turtle Rock already knows when to call it, and say, hey, we need to wait, we need to hold our, standards high, and not just, be like some people, like Call of Duty, that just release a yearly title all the time. So, I am very glad that they know when to actually say, hey, you know what, we messed up here, let's fix this. So, that is why, Turtle Rock, you are smart individuals, and I want to propose the idea to you that you're going to need to overhaul Versus mode a lot. And I'm going to be going into why I think you should and what specifically you're going to need to overhaul. So, let's talk about this. These are going to be my biggest complaints right here. Is the Special Infected, the pacing of the game, the fact that the game is not even really feeling like Versus or Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or just really a zombie game at any point. It almost feels like this weird Battle Royale simulator. And also as well, it's just that the game is so buggy in this game mode. I'm going to make a whole entire separate video when the beta is fully done with both weekends about the entirety of the beta. But however though, Versus is just so important to me right now because it's in such a bad shape that I just have to make its own individual video. And some of these points are, as I listed. So let's talk about them. First of all, let's talk about the Special Infected. Right now, there is only 3 Special Infected in the game, technically. you end up getting the Wretch, the Tall Boy, and the Hawker again, but you get their variants. You get their other exploding variant of the Wretch. You get the beating, punching the ground version of the Tall Boy, or like the Bruiser or whatever it is. And then you get the Hawker variant, which was like the Stinger. And they're all decent variants. So there's like 3 variants that are in total, but you get 2 of them in the beta. So reality right now, instead of having like 3 infected, we more rather get like 6. But it's still pretty much the same if you infected. This is without the Hag, this is without the Breaker, this is without the Snitch, this is without the Ogre, etc, etc. Now, the thing is with the Special Infected right now in the game, they're way, way too strong. Like, the beta has the Infected right now like the way that they were in the Alpha, where players can just take advantage of the abilities and just destroy people. Like, Turtle Rock, I gotta ask you this. Why would you make the Special Infected have the ability to have third person when the survivors are stuck in first? Because they can just literally just see where the survivors are going and wall them. They don't even really need to be that accurate. Also, in addition to that, why does the abilities have pretty much no cooldown? Why is it that, like, you can see gameplay of it right here on screen. Why is it that my character is able to just spam his ability left and right and just destroy the enemies back to back, essentially? Back in Left 4 Dead, cooldowns existed for a reason. Like, the Hunter couldn't always pounce back to back. The Spitter could only spit once before he had to recharge. Same thing with the Smoker. The tank, you would only end up being able to throw so many rocks at a time before your character you couldn't do it anymore. But why is it that if I'm playing as a Wretch, I can basically vomit spam? Why is it that if I'm playing as the Hawker, I can pretty much keep whenever I want a survivor pinned in a corner? And why is it that as a Tall Boy, I can literally, at my own command, I can even cancel my ability mid-charge and actually just choose to use it at a better point in time? There's no incentive to play it careful as the Infected. It's just like, oh, I missed, well, let me just spam again, and again, and again. And there's no, like, precautions, like in case I miss, or in case I need to back up and get my teammates to help me. And also, why is that the Special Infected can heal themselves? Not even heal themselves like in a way like that would make sense, but they literally can just regen their health over time. Why? That gives absolutely zero incentive to play remotely carefully. Sure, you might be somewhat carefully and keep yourself at a distance, but then you get into this problem where you're zoning people. And zoning people is one of the most annoying things you can possibly do. I have learned this firsthand. If you want to be able to keep the survivors pinned down in a particular area, you just zone them. Because why is it that also that the map shrinks? I understand the idea of not wanting to have campaign-specific versus maps. You want to just be more creative, and that's fine. But it's way too sandboxy. It's very claustrophobic. The difficulty gets higher and the map gets smaller. And you kind of have this Battle Royale effect where there's this bug swarm outside the map that's shrinking the zone repeatedly until you're eventually pushed into the middle. And the longest that I've been able to end up surviving or have anyone survive is maybe 5 minutes on average. And then you end up having to do another round. And it's a 50-50 coin toss about whether or not that you're going to have anything go in your favor. Because especially right now, the beta is very laggy and very, very horrible with connection-wise. So people lag out, people DC, people rage quit, and then the slots never fill. So I end up having a 2v4 match. I have so many complaints that keep going on being an encyclopedia. But I want to get the main ones rather than the nitpicky ones. Turtle Rock, this is what you need to do. You need to make it so that way the Special Infected have to be into first person. They cannot be in third person. The third person thing is going to give them too much of an advantage. They can see people around walls, see people around corners. It's way too strong. They have to have the same perspective as we do, as a survivor. You also, by the way, need to give them a cooldown cap. There's way, way too many opportunities to just spam over and over and over again. It's way too easy. In addition to that, you would also, in my humble opinion, need to make it so that way they can't heal themselves. Why is it that the Special Infected can heal themselves? Since they have the third person option, they know that when you're coming around the corner, they can constantly just hide around a wall and then wait until they're max health and then want to jump at you at their own command. And that's not fair. It's way too easy to just rush them when you have the perfect opportunity. As a survivor, I have to just assume that they're going to be coming from everywhere and anywhere at any point in time. Plus, they don't even necessarily have to wait, but they can come from any position, you know, above me, underneath of me, the side of me. They literally can be coming around from every corner. And that's not counting the fact that they're just super hard to kill already as it is because of the fact that you have the hitbox issue. I understand you want to put, like, critical spots on the special infected so you actually have to aim. But the problem is, though, is that with the critical spots on these special infected, they're way, way too hard to hit because they move so goddamn fast. I understand the whole entire point of accuracy, fine. And I also understand you don't have to hit the critical spot to get a kill. But this is what you need to do. You either need to make it so that way the critical spot is bigger, the critical spot is weaker, or you also need to make it so that way the critical spot is just not even necessary to shoot. You should just make it where you can just shoot everywhere, and the critical spot is maybe like a bonus. Because it's way too easy to be a special infected. Way, way, way too easy. And I really could, honest to God, care less about the scavenge thing in the middle. Like, why do I have to wait so long for my special infected and me and my special infected buddies for people to set up? But also, why is it at the same time simultaneously so slow when you're the survivors? Just don't even have one at all. Just make it so that way these survivors have just set loot in certain spots, and they have to scavenge it with maybe like a decent timer. Sure, I'm not saying all your ideas have to be scrapped, but if you're gonna try to like keep doing this approach, like with the certain maps that you have and the certain characters and guns and everything, at least make the countdown timers more fair for everyone. I would say for the special infected and the survivors, give us all like unanimously probably like 30 seconds to maybe like 45 seconds. Because anything shorter than that feels way too slow. Or sorry, way too fast, rather. And anything longer than that feels way too slow. I honest to God think that you could make it so that way a campaign map would be a better versus map, easily. Turtle Rock, I know you've done it before with Left 4 Dead, just do it again. Like, you need to make it so that way the maps flow. Because this idea of this, like... It's like you want to almost do, like, versus Battle Royale. It seems like that's what you're trying to get the idea is here. Is that Battle Royale, I understand, is like a hot commodity. It's a big, popular game mode. But at that point, just do Battle Royale. And like, even then, don't even try to do it, because Battle Royale is not the whole entire point about why people are buying this zombie game. People are buying this for basically Left 4 Dead. If you're gonna do this, don't try to, like, make something... into something else. Like, like, I think that's one of the things that can kill a game, is when you try to, like, get too far away from the original idea of what made it successful in the first place. The idea about why people want to play Back 4 Blood is because it's basically the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead 2, and people want to see a lot of Left 4 Dead elements. Now, I'm open to change, I really, really am, but you cannot make the game basically a brand new game and then just pretty much tease all the elements of basically saying, hey, but it's technically like this. You know, I understand that. I forgive the fact that the special infected are new interpretations of the old ones. I respect the fact that the survivors are new and we might not have the old ones. I respect the fact that we get these new and improved maps with new functions, new, and new guns and new attachments and new everything else. The card system. I was open to the card system. But Versus, it's just way, way, way too drastic of a difference, man. Versus feels like Battle Royale and zombies put together, but in the worst capacity possible. There's way too many things to focus on. Like, I understand that there is the idea of trying to make it feel different, and maybe you're trying to make it go competitive. I get that. I can completely respect that. In fact, I actually asked to it to a certain degree. You know, I want Versus to be kind of like a competitive mode, or at least have some form of competitive mode, but do it in the sense that it was the original version, like the original Versus. Because right now, the way that this feels like at the very best, like a indie game that's trying to impersonate Left 4 Dead. And I don't like it. I really don't like it at all. And a lot of people aren't liking it either. It shows. Because what's happening is that people are rage quitting. And I get lobbies that are like a 1v2. Or like sometimes, like if I'm lucky, I can get one full team on each. You know, I can have it like where it's like maybe like a 3v4 or like a 4v4 and a 3v3. But it's far and few in between. And this is just the beta. The beta's already having lobbies not being able to fill, because also keep in mind that people don't join back and bots don't fill in either. So you literally have handicap matches a lot of the time. If you're going to have it where your player base can't play the game, at least give us bots. Because what happens is that it's usually literally just a 2v4. It literally is just a 2v4. I've had that happen way too many times. Give us either bots, or make it so that way people can join lobbies in progress. Now, as much as that would suck, I would hate to have that happen, because I hate joining games in progress. I don't want to do that if I can avoid it. But if you can't do bots, you're going to have to do that, because lobbies that don't fill are not fun. When it's just a pub match, like where you're playing and it's like a 4v2, that's really not fun. It's not rewarding to even the people that are playing and winning, because like you're basically guaranteed victory. It's like stomping recruit bots. It's only fun for so long. Now, as the survivors too as well, like, and I'm mostly picking on the special infected here, but I am going to give some critiques to the survivors. Why is it that with the survivors that there is essentially this idea of that, like, you have to basically camp? I understand the idea that you want to have like teamwork and everything, but here's the thing, is like I said, going back to the point about how like a lot of the time lobbies are basically like 2v4, 1v3, etc, etc. Survivors need to end up getting a buff some sort of way. They need to either have more guns, more equipment, or like just stronger abilities on the battlefield, because they die way too quick. Like I said, the longest I've seen people survive is like 4 minutes. And this zone crap, by the way, about shrinking the map, you don't need to do that. The map is already small as it is, and is basically a sandbox. Just make it so that way we have full access to the map, because then that way the survivors have more opportunities and they can run around and be able to do more. If you make it where like the zone just shrinks and I'm literally being surrounded by 3 tall boys, and I'm basically being like just destroyed instantly, that's just not fun. And that's not even getting into anything like, you know, like the cards or the attachments or any other possible thing that I could be nitpicky about. The main things is this: the infected have to be nerfed. You gotta make it so that way they're bound to first person. You gotta make it where they also can't camp in the zone, and if there at least gonna be is a zone, you know, make it like where maybe like the special infected like can like take damage in the zone, maybe like where they're not immune to it either. Because I can literally just chill, I can literally hide in the zone and also around the wall, so I can constantly zone the survivors, and they cannot do anything about it. Because I'm in third person, I can see them, they can't see me. They get killed by the smoke and I don't. I can spam my abilities. Everything is just in my favor as a special infected. It's way too easy. Survivors need to have no smoke. They just need to have, if you're going to keep them in the sandbox, give them free roam, or make it survival, make it versus campaign maps from the normal single player. Or what you need to do is you literally just got to overhaul the mode. Surprise me. Make the mode something that people would want to play, because I can tell you this right now, I've seen firsthand people leave left and right, and it's not fun to play. I get bored of this very, very fast, and I'm very concerned that if I'm not going to be playing single player, that I just can't play Back 4 Blood, because I can't even imagine what it would be like for survival or you know, scavenge. I can't imagine any other PvP mode right now without imagining being either bored or upset. Turtle Rock, you gotta end up going back to your roots and making basically just traditional verses, because that's what people want in the first place. I know you see it on Twitter, and I know you probably ignore them because a lot of people are usually rude to you, but I'm asking from a perspective of respectfulness and kindness from a long-term fan. Please make verses based off the campaign, and if you cannot, please, 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 please make it so that way there's no smoke shrinking the already small maps that you have as it is. Make, maybe you can make like sandbox parts of your current single player maps, where if you can't go through the whole campaign, at least make mini sandbox versions of the current single player maps. Like take a chapter or two and like designate a certain area. Maybe like, for example, like the finale chapter, you can make so that way the finale area, that's the area you play around in. You know what I mean? So please change the maps like that. Please put the survivors in like a area that would be able to like benefit them. Please don't have smoke. Please make it so that way we have more loot. Please bind the special infected to first person. Make it where they take damage in the storm if they have to, or at least make it where they can't get their health back at the very minimum, because being able to recharge their health is ridiculous. Give them an ability cooldown, and just please make it so that way if people don't join, make it where we can at least have bots. Because the idea of just having dead lobbies in a beta is really concerning, and I believe that this can be overturned. I believe this can be fun. In fact, if you really want to salvage this mode, make it into a different mode. Just don't make it versus. Because when I played this as the survivors against non-special infected, or just non-player controlled infected, and it was just like bots. It was actually quite fun. It really was enjoyable. It almost kind of reminded me of survival, but with a twist where like the map was shrinking. That's basically what it felt like. If you want to basically make this into survival, that's okay. Be my guest. If you want to make this a variant of survival, go right ahead, but don't do it with versus. Please, please, please do not do this to versus, because versus is your main staple game from the Left 4 Dead series other than single player. So if you want to make this survival, go ahead. At least, or a variant of survival. I'd still personally would still like to see traditional survival, but if you want to do survival, it's used to being a sandbox anyways, and I could actually, deal with the smoke thing. And if I can't, then, you can just change it later. Because, like, most games do that right now. Nothing's set in stone. A game, when it releases, can always remove or add stuff later. We are in 2021, after all. So that's just kind of, like, my general thoughts on the idea, guys. Like, Versus is in a lot of trouble if it stays this way. And let me know what your thoughts and opinions are down below in the comments. I am probably going to the Back 4 Blood and Turtle Rock Twitters if I can fit enough, words in the title without YouTube saying, hey, that's too many. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about this? Do you think that Back 4 Blood Versus is good? Do you think it's bad? And if so, what would you do to change to improve it? I really want to know. Please let me know via the comments down below. And if you enjoyed, please drop a like, because I want to send this Turtle Rock's way. I want to see that there's changes hopefully done. But yeah, guys, I hope you end up enjoying today's video. If you enjoyed, once again, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to financially support the channel, please definitely consider checking out my Patreon. There's a link down below for it in the description. Or please use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because this video is sponsored by Epic Games. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it, and I hope you enjoyed another YouTube video for the most unique YouTuber you guys are ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys, and peace out.